You work way too hard for your money to go out there and be buying fragrances that end up giving you nothing in return. They end up being boring or lackluster, whether it's in the smell or in the performance. And so you put it on the shelf and it ends up just gathering dust. Or maybe you do find a fragrance that you like and you spray it on, you're out there walking around thinking, man, I smell good. And the guy walking by who's like, man, I smell good. And you're both wearing exactly the same thing and you smell exactly the same. If you're tired of running into that situation, today let me be your pattern interrupt. A pattern interrupt in psychology is something that pushes you out of a routine that you've gotten yourself into. And I want this to be the pattern interrupt to your routine of accepting crappy blue fragrances. So what I've done is I've taken some time and curated 10 of the best budget blues. Not only are these very inexpensive fragrances, but they are time proven over and over again in any scenario to work, to perform, to smell amazing, and to make you smell amazing. If it sounds good to you, I've got that and more coming up, so stay tuned. Welcome back, you hard-working people. Let me just tell you, I really can appreciate just how much you break your back to bring home the bacon, to make that income. And it's not something you should take for granted. You know, at the end of your very hard work week, whether you're self-employed or whether you work for the man, you're working your butt off. And I know that, and I can appreciate that, and I want you to appreciate it. And one of the ways you can appreciate it is by making wise choices when it comes to fragrance. Today, we're talking about 10 of the best budget blues that your hard-earned money can buy. To do this right for you guys, I want to explain very briefly how to use this video. So right down below are the liner notes for the video. And in these notes, I've created links so that you can go and purchase these fragrances if you want to. Testers are brand new. It's just that they sat on a shelf in a retail store and maybe one person used it, maybe nobody used it. They are very often discounted anywhere from $4 to $8. So I've given you guys the list of testers first, and below that new if you prefer to pay, $4 to $8 more to get it wrapped in cellophane. The first one is actually a fragrance by Lacoste. It is Eau de Lacoste French Panache. Lemon, mandarin, red Windsor apple. There's a note in here called sand, and there's sandalwood. Sand and sandalwood. It's a little bit dense, heavy, lightly gummy in terms of performance. It lasts. This is a really great budget blue. Grab it up while you can in terms of before it gets discontinued. One of the better, lesser known budget blues. As a tester, you can get a 100 ml bottle for about $55. Eau de Lacoste French Panache. One cool thing I want to say about these fragrances that I really like about, especially the idea of, is when you're out there walking around out, on the town or at the mall or at work, nobody's going to be wearing any of these. These aren't like high profile or super well known. They're the lesser known blues, but that doesn't make them lesser in terms of quality or wearability. The next excellent budget blue is actually from the car manufacturer Mercedes-Benz, who's well known for making some great fragrances. This is Mercedes-Benz Man Intense. Do not judge this blue fragrance by the open. Judge it by the dry down. You talk about intense. This blue fragrance grows in intensity as time goes on. Another dense, long-lasting ambroxan, geranium, pear leaf. It's got kind of a heavier, waxy appeal to it as well. Although waxy doesn't sound like it's very appealing in a fragrance, it is, because it affects overall how it feels, how it wears, and the proximity gauge projection, the longevity, the performance of it. You can get a 100 ml bottle of Mercedes-Benz Man Intense as a tester for under $40. Very well worth it. This next budget blue is one of the more unique blues I've ever had the pleasure of experiencing and recommending to you guys. It's actually from Trussardi. It is Trussardi Riflesso Blue Vibe. It's a very unusual looking bottle. It almost has like a rubbery coating around it, which feels like it's kind of protective. Don't put that to the test by dropping it. That's just what it feels like. But I really like the blue and like the neon kind of yellow or green. You've got yuzu, you've got rum, there's Davana, there's leather, there's tobacco. It almost sounds hazelnut That almost sounds like a gourmand fragrance, right? Does not smell like that. It's kind of a ambroxan bomb, to be honest, because it's got quite a bit of ambroxan pushing all of those notes forward into one of the more heavier, unique blue fragrances that you'll ever wear on a budget. It is one of the great lesser known blues, I think, in my opinion. You've got to try it out. This is one of my guilty pleasure blue fragrances. You can get a full 100 ml bottle for $40. Part of the trio that was originally released by Salvatore Ferragamo in the Uomo line is Uomo Urban Feel. This one is an evergreen pine, wonderful blue, long-lasting fragrance. One of the best budget blues that, again, is still out there to get. Please grab a bottle of this. Do yourself a service, a solid, because you'll be happy when it gets announced that it's discontinued. There's going to be this collective groan that you'll hear throughout the US and the world because people who haven't purchased it are going to be like, why didn't I grab that? It's on my list to get. I mean, in most cases, you're not even paying $40. You can get this for under $40 as a tester. If you're in the fragrance community, you probably know about this fragrance. It has been discontinued, but it's one of those that they have quite a bit still left. But really, who knows how many are still left, right? So why not get it now instead of having that buyer's remorse in reverse, I guess, because you didn't get something instead of getting it and regretting it. So why not get it now instead of waiting until it's too late? It's also a Salvatore Ferragamo. It is Acqua Essenziale Blue. This is one of those that makes fantastic use of captive water molecules, Cascalone, Paradisone, along with other citrus and blue-oriented notes to make a fantastic blue aquatic signature scent. There's no reason not to get a full bottle of this for just over $40. It is very well worth it. One of the most underrated blue fragrances in history for men. This next budget blue is by Jean Varvatos. It's one of my favorite quick grabs. It is XX Indigo, part of the Heritage kind of collection. I don't really care for the fleur-de-lis that's, always moving around and making noise, but the fragrance itself is boss. You've got peppermint, poppy, pink pepper, patchouli, really all your P's. This fragrance is extremely effective in terms of performance, and it's quite unique as a blue fragrance. It's not just a stamp, we've done this before, we've smelled this before, stamp and let's go, let's move on. It's not one of those generic or white label blue fragrances. XX Indigo definitely stands on its own, and you can get a full bottle as a tester for less than $50. All right, guys, this next budget blue, and I never thought I would actually be saying that it's a budget blue because it is absolutely one of my favorite fragrances to grab at home and wear, no matter what I'm doing. It's a summertime fragrance, though. It is by Zadig and Voltaire, very much from the This Is Him line, with that This Is Him DNA, only the summer version of it. It is This Is Love. One of the best orange blossom, sandalwood, kind of fragrances that still carries that lightly, I say lightly, it's light in here, but the dark heart of incense is in the original This Is Him, and that carries over into this, but the translation into a summertime fragrance is one of the best. This fragrance kind of gets me in a really good mood. It's definitely one of those mood elevating fragrances, but it's been pretty expensive since it came out because it's relatively popular. Like, people really like it because it's a great fragrance. But you can get a 100 ml bottle as a tester for about $66, definitely under $70, and that is so worth it. This next budget blue, I call it a blue fragrance. It's more of a citrus bomb, but it's one of the best, and it's priced just right. It's by Jesus Del Pozo, very well known for the Halloween Man line. This one is Halloween Man Hero. Let this one be the hero to your budget, to your wallet. Halloween Man Hero, again, it's a citrus-oriented bomb, but there's little nuances of like light aquatic. You've got lemon, but at its heart, and down there towards the base, is when that whole blue reference comes out. And it stands the test of time. The performance is really good with this. Even when those citrus notes start to die off, you get this really nice, like woody, lightly sweet blue element. And of course, you can get a tester as a 100 ml bottle for about $33. This next budget blue is another one of my guilty pleasures that I enjoy wearing and spraying the heck out of. It's actually from Coach. It is Coach Blue. I know a lot of people that are out there in the fragrance community are saying, yeah, but it doesn't last, it doesn't perform. It performs fine for me. And really, who cares what it performs like when it smells this good. This is one of the best uses, I think, of lime, absinthe, gin tonic, and amber. You know how Invictus Platinum didn't get that much of a great overview or rating because of how it doesn't last as well, but it smells great. It's similar to this, but this is so much cheaper, so much more inexpensive, and therefore a fantastic deal. If you don't find it performs for you, just spray it on again. You've got a whole bottle, and you can get a whole bottle, 100 ml bottle, for 40 bucks, less than 40 bucks. Very well worth it. Coach Blue. All right, guys, you've stuck with me this long, and I really appreciate it. And I think that you'll appreciate it and enjoy it, because the last one we're going to talk about is from Abercrombie & Fitch, the very well-known brand that Fierce came from. And in fact, I think they tried to capitalize on their success with Fierce with this fragrance, but they failed. That doesn't mean it's not a good blue fragrance. Fragrance, of course, is called First Instinct, and it is by Abercrombie & Fitch. As I've mentioned, you can get a 100 ml bottle of this for 34 bucks. Very well worth it. This is the introduction of Guano melon in fragrance, and it's one of the better uses of Guano melon gin tonic. It's such a refreshing blue experience. And again, nobody's really wearing this, and that will make it even more unique in your world. Now, what I've linked below for this one, there's no tester. It's just the brand new bottle for 34 bucks. I really enjoy that Guano melon gin tonic combination on my skin, and I think you will too. Well, guys, that is a wrap on today's video. I've shared with you 10 curated best budget blues that are blissfully inexpensive. I hope that you own some of these. For those of you that do, share with everyone here in the comments your experience and what you like about them, or maybe other fragrances that you have found that are similar that I didn't mention that belong in this list. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, thank you so much for your continued support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video review.